Thank you for joining us here on First Check, Aamar. What's your overall assessment of the market? The short term, is the view, bullish once again in the short term, or is it still a sell on rise sort of a market?
Yeah, I would say that if you look at the markets, Indian markets are clearly indicating that there's a lot of support for the markets at lower levels. That is something which is coming out very clear, despite the fact that we saw a significant correction, almost 15-16% in the most heavyweight of all counters, that is HDFC Bank, and which has close to 13.5% weightage. So despite that, the markets have bounced back, and yesterday it was Reliance up by almost 7%. So that tells me that overall markets are being supported, and also global cues have also been positive. You talked about crude oil prices moving up slightly. So that's within, I would say, comfortable zone, anywhere between 75 and 90. That's a zone which the markets are also comfortable with. So I don't see much on that side. But yes, what we are seeing is that a lot of heavyweights are getting into action. We are seeing earlier it was HDFC Bank. Now we are seeing Reliance. And also markets are awaiting the budget. How much actually the budget delivers is something we'll have to watch out for, because it being an interim budget, but still expectations and hopes are always there from the budget. And if you look at the broader market, which you talked about, yeah, across the board, be it the small caps, the mid caps, the large caps, we've seen some sort of resilience there, as well as pockets of very upside, positive upside move. And also there, what we are seeing is that PSU, public sector undertakings have been performing exceedingly well, be it public sector banks, be it the railways, be it the defense. So they have also been contributing significantly.
All right, and India VIX, now that has, the index has climbed above 16 levels today, and we are at a, at a 1 year high as far as the volatility index is concerned. Is that a concern for the markets?
So if I look at India VIX, so India VIX, see, I wouldn't say, because ahead of budget, we definitely see a rise in VIX, because markets during this period, pre-budget and slightly post-budget, we see a lot of volatility. So I think this is along expected lines. Had the budget not been there and we would have seen a spike in India VIX, then it could have led us to believe that maybe there could be further correction or uncertainty in the markets or something of that sort. But this is along expected lines. The key question is that how long does, because if we go back and see, so just to give you a perspective, so if I look at India VIX in the month of March made a high of 17.36. If I go back slightly, in February, it had made a high of 19.39. Currently, it's around 16.5. So somewhere around 17. And we'll see higher VIX also, there's no doubt about it. We'll see the spike there as well. So this is expected. I don't read much into it, because markets are anticipating that there'd be increased volatility. That's the reason we are seeing a rise in VIX. Otherwise, there's not much to worry as of now.
All right, and it makes sense that the volatility is elevated considering such a data heavy week we have in front of us. Of course, there is the interim budget, but we also have US Fed's policy decision that comes out tomorrow on Wednesday, and of course we are in the midst of the earnings season, and today we have a big one in L&T. I'll come to you in just a bit, Aamar, but Amit over here has the street's word on what to expect from L&T. Amit.
Okay, thank you, Suyash. The street expects a sizable rise in profits when it comes to L&T, almost as much as over 33%, as much as 33.7% rise in net profit. Revenue is expected to jump 20%. EBITDA is likely to be subdued and actually would go down around 11.3%. EBITDA margins also will be going down around 330 business points. Now, the rise is basically on the back of strong order inflows and project executions. When we look at the stock, Aamar, the stock has given a rise of almost 75% over the last 1 year. It is close to its all-time high of 3733 at 3,700. How do you advise investors to approach L&T right now?
So if you look at L&T, definitely the stock, see it on the long-term charts or even on the short-term charts, intermediate-term trend, I would say the trend is very strong. So effectively, it means is that there's no sign of trend change either on the long-term or the intermediate-term trend, and the momentum is there. However, what we are seeing on the daily charts, that is the short-term charts, we are seeing some sort of consolidation. It's like more or less the momentum has been declining. And also some of the technical indicators are clearly pointing towards extremely overheated territory in L&T. So effectively, it means is that upside now could be capped for some time. So it definitely makes sense for those who are long and holding positions. They can look at booking profits. If they don't want to book profits, they want to trail their profits, then the stop loss needs to be below the 3,300 mark, because it's almost 400 points from the current levels. But that's the next, I would say, swing bottom. So short-term swing bottom. So if a stop has to be placed, it has to be placed below 3,300 levels. Otherwise, this could be a level to at least book part profit in L&T. The long-term trend, there's no change in trend, or there's no change in the intermediate-term trend as well, and that continues to be extremely strong. So effectively, it also means one more thing is that any significant correction in the stock should be used as a buying opportunity.
All right, and before we let you go, Amar, considering the current market volatility and the temptation to enter this, before the budget, what are the key do's and don'ts that a trader should keep in mind on the budget day?
Yeah, I would say one thing you definitely need to keep a watch out on the budget day, that you can be right and you can still lose money on the budget day, because the market is going to be extremely volatile and the stops getting triggered would be quite high, because the possibility of the stops getting triggered, because markets will move both ways. So best is that you wait out for the budget, then you'll get some very good moves. Rather, if you are preempting and taking a position and the market moves both ways, the chances or probability of stops getting triggered would be higher, as compared to once the budget is over, the market to a certain extent has digested, maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes post that, you might get some very good trades in the index or maybe in specific stocks. So that would be a more appropriate way of looking at it, unless you have some option strategies which you plan to implement during the budget day.
All right, that's a view coming in from Mr. Aamar Singh. Sir, always great insights from you. Thank you for joining us here on News 9.